Faith-based story. From entitlement to redemption, the transformation of Samuel. In the small town of Graceville, there lived a young man named Samuel Foster. Samuel had been born into privilege, with a silver spoon in his mouth and everything he could ever want at his fingertips. His parents, who were known for their wealth and social standing, showered him with gifts and indulged his every whim from a young age. As Samuel grew older, the constant gratification of his desires began to take its toll on his character. He became entitled and selfish, expecting the world to bend to his will. His sense of entitlement permeated his relationships, friendships, and even his attitude towards the less fortunate in Graceville. Proverbs 11:28 rang true in Samuel's life: "Whoever trusts in his riches will fall, but the righteous will flourish like a green leaf." Samuel had placed his trust in his material wealth and had fallen into a self-centered existence. The people of Graceville watched with concern as Samuel's character continued to erode. He seldom displayed empathy for others, and his actions were often driven by self-interest. He had grown distant from the values of the tight-knit Christian community that surrounded him, which preached humility, compassion, and selflessness. One day, a newcomer named David arrived in Graceville, and his presence would have a profound impact on Samuel's life. David was a humble man, known for his selfless acts of kindness and unwavering faith. Samuel initially dismissed him as just another outsider, but something about David's authenticity piqued his curiosity. As Samuel observed David's interactions with the townsfolk, he began to see a stark contrast between the newcomer's actions and his own entitled behavior. David embodied the principles from 1 Peter 5:5, "Clothe yourselves, all of you, with humility toward one another, for God opposes the proud but gives grace to the humble." One afternoon, David was seen helping an elderly neighbor, Mrs. Jenkins, repair her fence that had been damaged during a storm. Samuel couldn't help but feel a pang of guilt as he watched the selfless act unfold. He had rarely lifted a finger to help others, let alone with such humility and sincerity. Haunted by his own shortcomings, Samuel decided to engage David in conversation. He hoped to gain insight into the source of the newcomer's humility and compassion, for he felt a longing to change his own life. David spoke of his faith and shared Bible verses that had guided him throughout his life. He referenced James 4:6, "But he gives more grace. Therefore, it says, God opposes the proud but gives grace to the humble." The words resonated deeply with Samuel, who realized that he had been living a life opposed to the principles of grace. Over the weeks that followed, Samuel began attending the Graceville Community Church more regularly. He had been a sporadic visitor in the past, attending only when it was convenient or when his parents insisted. This time, he came with a newfound sense of purpose and a desire to mend his character. One Sunday, Pastor Anderson delivered a sermon on the importance of transformation through faith. He shared the parable of the prodigal son from Luke 15:11-32, emphasizing the son's realization of his own wrongdoing and his return to his father. The story touched Samuel's heart, as he saw parallels between himself and the prodigal son. Inspired by the message, Samuel decided to take a significant step towards change. He recognized the need to relinquish his entitlement and dedicate his life to Christ. With a heavy heart, he shared his decision with his parents, who were initially resistant to the idea but ultimately respected his choice. From that day forward, Samuel committed himself to living a life of humility, compassion, and selflessness, in accordance with the Christian doctrine. He began volunteering at the local soup kitchen, visited the sick and elderly, and repaired relationships that had been damaged by his entitled behavior. The transformation was not without its challenges. Samuel faced criticism and skepticism from some who doubted the sincerity of his change. Yet, he was determined to stay the course, guided by the teachings of the Bible. As time passed, the people of Graceville began to witness a remarkable change in Samuel. His acts of kindness and selflessness gradually eroded the memory of his previous entitled behavior. He was living the truth of 2 Corinthians 5:17, "Therefore, If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away, behold, the new has come. David, the humble newcomer, became a mentor and a dear friend to Samuel throughout his journey of transformation. David's words and actions continued to inspire him, and their friendship deepened. Samuel had finally understood that a life grounded in faith and humility was far more fulfilling and meaningful than one defined by entitlement. In the end, Samuel's transformation not only redeemed his character but also had a profound impact on the entire community of Graceville. His journey from entitlement to redemption served as a powerful testimony to the transformative power of faith, and the town was reminded of the enduring truth of Romans 12:2, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind." Samuel's renewal was a testament to the renewal of a soul through faith, grace, and a commitment to living out the teachings of Christ.